Well, here we are on the first day of recording for the audiobook version of Stewart Giles' Occam's Razor. It's a very interesting book. I've read all the way through it, of course, and it's different. It is a little different. It's much more, a lot more espionage and intrigue than straight-out murder mystery like the others are. So I'm going to enjoy this. In any case, here we go. 1. Sunday, 8th August 2010. Jimmy Fisher stood on the goal line and stared into the eyes of the man 10 meters in front of him. Paolo Rubio was a central defender and not known for his goal-scoring skills, but Jimmy had learnt a long time ago that you could never assume anything in the game of football. There were good days and bad days. Anything could happen. Rubio placed the ball on the penalty spot and made the sign of the cross on his chest. Why do these South Americans always do that, Jimmy thought. It always unnerved him. It was as if they thought they had the power of God on their side. Jimmy was tired. 90 minutes of regular time, plus extra time, had taken its toll. The crowd were booing now. They were getting restless. York City were up 4-3 on penalties, and if Jimmy saved this penalty, they would be promoted to League One. It would be the first time in 10 years for York City. Everything would change after that. It would mean more money, more status, and for Jimmy it would mean an opportunity to break away from York once and for all. Nobody bothers with the players from the lower leagues, he thought. The scouts don't even look at them anymore. Paolo Rubio walked away from the ball and looked up at the crowd. 38,000 people were waiting to see what would happen. More people than either player had ever played in front of before. Jimmy thought about the 3 men in the bar in town the week before. He thought about what they had offered him, what they had told him to think hard about. He had not liked the look of any of them. Eastern European types, he had thought. Maybe former Soviet Union. Paolo Rubio started his run-up. His eyes were pointing towards the left-hand goalpost, Jimmy's right. He could be bluffing, Jimmy thought, or he could be waiting for me to think he's bluffing. Jimmy looked at the ball. Rubio was approaching slightly to the left of it. Either he was going to tap it to the right, or he was going to blast it into the left-hand side of the net. Rubio's foot struck the ball. Jimmy dived to his right. The ball went right. Rubio had not been bluffing. Jimmy's hand made good contact with the ball. It was sent flying over the crossbar into the crowd behind the goal. Rubio had missed. York City were going to be playing in League One the following season. The other 10 York City players rushed towards the goal. Jimmy was picked up by 3 or 4 of them and raised in the air. The sound from the crowd was something he had never heard before. This was a huge moment in the history of the club. Jimmy found himself being paraded up and down the pitch. He was a hero. He would be in all the papers the next day. The noise from the crowd was getting louder and louder. The sun was shining down on the roof of the stadium. It caught something metal on one of the houses behind it, and a bright glint could be seen for a second or two. Jimmy Fisher was on top of the world. He did not want this moment to end. He would be remembered for years to come as the goalkeeper who saved the penalty that secured promotion for York City. The crowd was showing no sign of calming down. The silencer, the Dragunov SVD rifle, had been unnecessary. The heavy caliber bullet hit Jimmy Fisher in the chest, exited out his back, and pierced the shoulder of one of his teammates. It took a few seconds for the men who were carrying him to realize what was happening. Blood was gushing out of the huge hole in Jimmy's chest. Jimmy Fisher was definitely going to be in all the papers the following day.